So as an Imperial player, some may add as an Imperial fanboy, I sometimes sit down and think to myself that Chaos technically saved the Imperium rather than damning it into oblivion. They actually gave us the faith to push forward and launch ourselves back into the stars to fight for the future of humanity. Now I know what you're thinking. Hey, this just sounds like the Perturabo Save the Imperium video with extra steps. Well, technically, you're right again, because this is just like that video, but instead of Perturabo saving the Imperium, it's actually Chaos itself. You could probably argue that maybe it's Abaddon that saved the Imperium, but I'm just not ready to tick that box just yet. So, what evidence backs this up? Well, all you have to do is read the story that we actually have in front of us already. Now, Cadia was a fortress world that held Chaos back into the Eye of Terror. Once Cadia was destroyed, the Great Plan came to fruition, and then the Great Rift spread itself across the galaxy, splitting the Imperium in twain. This was our damnation. We could not gather our forces since the Astronomicon went out, but if anything, it actually rallied mankind. It gave mankind a saviour to lead it from the dark and bring a new age of light. Because the Xenos now got involved in the future of mankind. With their witchery, they rebirthed a loyalist Primarch, and one could argue that this was probably the best choice of Primarch to return for the current situation the Imperium was in, because the Imperium was in a dire strait. The High Lords cared not for the future of the Imperium, just for their political gains. Nothing was getting done. Now you have Guilliman returned, and we start to see things getting done. A hell of a lot of things getting done. Guilliman returns to Terra. He has an audience with the Emperor. He has bestowed the Emperor's flaming sword, signaling him now the de facto Emperor of mankind. Finally, we have a figurehead to look to lead us from the shadows back into greatness in the galaxy once more. And not only do we have a Primarch that has returned to lead us, but we have a new army that follows him as well. Because it's just not Guilliman who returns. Belisarius Cawl also returns, and with him, he brings the Primaris Marines. And boy, oh boy, does he bring a lot of Primaris Marines. We're talking about numbers that can bring back dead chapters, reinforce chapters that are on the brink of extinction, numbers that start founding their own chapters. We're talking about a mass of Space Marines that hasn't been seen since the days of the Great Crusade. And on top of that, it's weapons, armour, machinery, technology. All this comes from the forges of Belisarius Cawl. He is not like the rest of the AdMech. He doesn't look to the past. He looks to the future. He wants to innovate, bring new technology to the Imperium, make them the greatest force the galaxy has ever seen. Now, another big thing is that I would say Chaos actually motivated the greatest force in the galaxy to take to the field. For those of you who don't know, there was a second siege of Terror that involved the forces of Khorne. They assaulted the Imperial Palace. The custodians inside, the 10,000 as they're known, rallied. They spewed forth from the gates of Terror and brought war to the Demonkin. Not only them, there were Space Marines, there were Sisters of Battle, there were Sisters of Silence, Imperial Guard forces, PDFs. Basically, the Imperium rallied at Terror and it demolished Khorne's forces. Because of this brazen attack, the custodians then looked on themselves and they were like, we are not doing enough. We've just been in the Imperial Palace guarding the Emperor. To truly guard the Emperor, we must slay his foe. And the only way to do that is head back to the battlefield and bring our retribution. Now, even though the Imperium seems to be doing well with the actions of Chaos, Chaos is also doing well with the actions of Chaos. It's not all about the Imperium. So for those Chaos players who are raging in chat, how dare you, this was not our intention, just hang on. Because when the Great Rift opened up, you were able to take worlds, Ivory worlds, worlds of resource, even chapter worlds fell to the power of Chaos. But I have to add that because of the success of Chaos initially, this gave the Imperium a goal to look forward to. It rallied the Imperium. It rallied us to go out and reconquer the galaxy, to take back these worlds, to fight for our survival. And that is exactly what is happening. Now we have the Indominus Crusade. The Indominus Crusade is a crusade that matches the crusade of the Great Crusade. And we all know how many bloody ships that had. This was the first time the Imperium went out to reconquer the galaxy in humanity's name. Now we're back with vengeance and we're about to take no prisoners. Now, you could probably argue that the greatest thing Chaos did was split the galaxy in half, and I would say yes, that is a pretty good win for Chaos. The Astronomicon in the northern part of the Imperium is more or less dead. Warp travel is perilous, you're probably going to lose your ships, you're probably going to die horribly, but again, there is a light in the darkness, because Guilliman was able to go across there and give aid to a certain chapter, and that chapter was the Blood Angels, because around about the time the Great Rift happened, the Blood Angels were being assaulted by the Tyranids. They were on the brink of extinction. The Tyranids were going to win, and it just wasn't the Blood Angels, it was all the Blood Angels and their successors who managed to arrive at the planet, so there was a hell of a lot of Space Marines at Baal. So now the Blood Angels and their successors have been reinforced by the Primaris Marine. They've been given all these new technologies by Khorne, new battleships. They even have an Angel space station above Baal. Baal itself is turning into a paradise. It is a refuge world now. It's basically the terror of the Northern Empire of the Imperium. And from it, it is commanded by Dante, one of the, if not the greatest space marine who has ever lived. So now we have Dante, the Blood Angel successor chapters, fully reinforced by the Primaris Marines, bearing all this new technology, conquering the northern parts of the Imperium, and you have Guilliman and his forces crusading in the southern parts. This is a two-pronged attack upon the forces of Chaos, which I think is going to be quite deadly against them. I'm sure Chaos has a card up its sleeve. It's got to pull something out. It's planning something. We don't know what the grand plan of Abaddon is. We've heard rumors that he's attempting to drop the galaxy into the warp, so Chaos reigns supreme and everyone just dies by ripping their eyes out because all the hideous things you'll witness. But I'm sure Chaos in the long run does have goals. We just don't know what those goals are at this current time. All we're seeing is that the Imperium is heading out into the galaxy again. It is strong again. It is bringing its retribution again to the galaxy, not only to Chaos, but to the Xenos foes who dare stand in their way. And this has all come from the actions of Chaos. Anyway, Chaperonios, that's me done for another video. I would love to get your thoughts and feedback on this. Am I wrong? Am I right? Am I a heretic? Am I too loyal for my power armored boots? I would love to get all the thoughts and feedback down below. I want to give a big shout out to Visfarov over on 40k Lore. He actually posted a thread called "The Imperium is very successful post-Rift," and that really gave me the inspiration to make this video, because it just look at it, look what Chaos have done. So if you want to go and read his thread, the link is in the description. He's an amazing guy. Go and give him a like and stuff like that. Anyway, enough waffling. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. See you now. Have a great day, and bye-bye.